One of the contemporary legal problems that confront us is the movement and the stashing of large sums of cash, with its attendant likelihood of distorting economies. Ordinarily, it is not unlawful for a person to move or keep large cash sums as long as the money was lawfully acquired. After all, it is the person's money, and as owner, that person may choose to do what pleases that person with that person's money. The important consideration is that the holder of large cash sums should be able to account for same as to the lawfulness of the source. Therefore, where the source of the money is cast in some considerable doubt, then legal hurdles are raised and questions are posed. On this score, the antenna of investigative authorities swing into inquiring activity where public officials are dictated to be keeping or moving large sums of money. This is because in almost every jurisdiction, including Ghana, it is extremely unusual and highly suspicious for a public to have such large cash sums stashed in homes, as it raises concerns of suspected inappropriate conduct, and such occurrences dictate pause and reflection. It is in this context that the Office of the Special Prosecutor commenced investigation in July 2023 in respect of suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses regarding large amounts of money, mainly in foreign denominations, and other valuable items involving Ms. Cecilia Dapaah, a former Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, and her spouse, Mr. Daniel Osei Kufuor. Investigation was triggered by a complaint filed by Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor to the police against certain individuals on an allegation of the theft of large sums of money from the residence of the complainants. Ms. Dapaah was the Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources at the time. The complaint precipitated criminal proceedings in the Circuit Court, Accra, against 4 persons on various counts of theft in court case number D4155-2023, the Republic versus Patience Bochwe, and 3 others. The charges recounted that between July and October 2022, the accused persons allegedly stole valuable items from the residence of Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor at Agyebeng, Accra, including cash amounts of $1 million and 300,000 euros. The initial complaint to the police recounted that $800,000 of the amount reportedly stolen from the residence belonged to Ms. Dapaah's deceased brother, and 300,000 cedis was contribution towards Ms. Dapaah's mother's funeral, which was contained in a box. There was no indication as to the source of the remainder of $200,000 and 300,000 euros. On the basis of case number D4155-2023, the Republic versus Patience Bochwe and 3 others, and the totality of the criminal intelligence gathered by the Office of the Special Prosecutor, and that large sums of money were physically stashed at the residences of Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor, the Special Prosecutor directed full investigation into corruption and corruption-related offenses involving Ms. Dapaah and her spouse, in accordance with Regulation 6 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Operations Regulations 2018 LI 2374, as the circumstances reasonably indicated to the office that the source of the cash sum stated as belonging to Ms. Dapaah, a public officer at the time, on the charge sheet in D4155-2023, the Republic versus Patience Bochwe and 3 others, was suspicious, and that the cash sums were suspected tainted property as being proceeds from corruption and corruption-related offenses. On 24 July 2023, the office placed Ms. Dapaah under arrest on charges of corruption and corruption-related offenses. The office subsequently conducted searches in 3 residential properties associated with Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei Kufuor at Cantonments, Agyebeng, and Tesano in Accra. The searches, which were carried out over a period of 2 weeks, led to the discovery of the cash sums of 590,000 United States dollars and 2,730,000 cedis. Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei could not readily provide a reasonable explanation as to the sources of the cash sums. Authorized officers of the office seized the discovered cash sums on reasonable grounds that they were suspected tainted property, in accordance with Section 32(1) of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, Act 959, as it was necessary to exercise the power of seizure to prevent concealment of the cash sums. The Special Prosecutor, considering it necessary to facilitate the investigations, issued a freezing order against the bank accounts and investments of Ms. Dapaah, domiciled at Prudential Bank Limited and Societe Generale Ghana. Upon the refusal by the High Court to confirm the freezing and seizure orders in August 2023, the office re-seized the cash sums and refroze the bank accounts and investments and applied to the court again for confirmation. In FT 0074-2023, the Special Prosecutor versus Cecilia Dapaah and Daniel Osei. Extensive investigation was conducted in-country involving 20 persons and 3 state institutions, and especially in the Ashanti region, to establish the financial standing of Ms. Dapaah's deceased brother during his lifetime and at the time of his death, since it was alleged that a substantial portion of the cash sums belonged to Ms. Dapaah's deceased brother. From October 2023, the investigation became cross-border and transboundary upon the claim by the persons of interest that part of the seized cash sums was transported to Ghana from the United States. For that reason, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, of the United States became involved in a collaborative investigative work with the office on the matter. Investigation has been aimed at determining the sources of the large cash sums associated with Ms. Dapaah and Mr. Osei. The office has had the benefit of 7 months of in-country and 4 months of collaborative transboundary investigation. Members of the press, on the totality of the gathered evidence and intelligence, it seems to us that the case is largely in the province of suspected money laundering and structuring. By operation of law, the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, has a specific and direct mandate in respect of suspected cases of money laundering and its attendant activity of structuring. Consequently, the Office of the Special Prosecutor is referring the case to EOCO for continued investigation and further action. The office will be in close collaboration with EOCO and continued collaboration with the FBI. A little over an hour ago, the office discontinued its application that was pending before the High Court for a confirmation of the seizure and freezing orders in pursuance of the referral of the case to EOCO. The court ordered that the office should return the cash sums and defreeze the accounts of an investment of Ms. Dapaah within 72 hours. The office also discontinued the procedural criminal charge against Ms. Dapaah for failure to return forms on declaration of property and income, since that was mounted on the original application for confirmation of the seizure and freezing orders, which was discontinued earlier in time. Elton, on the contrary, it is an extensive investigation of the Office of the Special Prosecutor with the collaborative work of the FBI that has led us to this conclusion. If the Office of the Special Prosecutor had a direct mandate by law in respect of suspected money laundering and structuring, there will be no such referral. But we operate within the confines of the law. And since the law that created the OSP did not necessarily grant such a direct mandate in respect of suspected money laundering, but the law that created the Economic and Organized Crime Office states specifically that they have a mandate in respect of suspected money laundering. Now, after 7 months of investigation, we have a body of evidence. So if we have come to the conclusion that it suggests, it seems to us that it is more in relation to suspected money laundering, then the proper thing to do is to refer it to the state institution, which by law has a direct mandate, as stated in the Act. The lawyers will tell you that we guard our language carefully. It is only conclusive if a court of law so says the person has engaged in such conduct. For us, as investigative and prosecutorial authorities, we can only use such language that suspected. That is why persons who are under investigation are suspects, not convicts. It is only where a court convicts a person that you can say that this is conclusive. And so it will be very unfair for us to be tagging conclusiveness to persons under investigation. Otherwise, it will suggest that we have already found them guilty, but that is not how it is done. Now, our referral to EOCO, as I said, it is a body of evidence that is being handed over to EOCO. So that will form the bedrock, the foundation upon which they will further build. Mind you, I said something in my short address that we will still be in the background doing collaborative work with EOCO and also with the FBI in respect of this matter. But if the law has specifically stated that this institution has a direct mandate, after 7 months, what more are we doing holding on to it when we can hand over? There's even precedent. You recall in the ABAJ case when Shraj concluded its administrative inquiry, the matter was handed over to the Office of the Special Prosecutor for further action. It is this collaborative work which is required and stipulated by law, which we follow. Otherwise, we will be lost unto ourselves. The Office of the Special Prosecutor does not clear persons. One, we are not a court of law, so we do not clear persons that we do not find that the person has committed anything or otherwise. So we are clearing the person. All the reports in respect of which you see that we are ending the investigation, it means that we have not found what the law will require of us if we were to carry it on further in respect of the standard of proof. So if we investigate the person and the evidence is such that it will seem to us that we will not be able to secure a conviction, there's no point wasting the time of the court and state resources chasing after. It will just be persecution and not prosecution. So we never clear anyone. We only conclude on what we have found, and then we go on with further action if need be. And we are always minded to end that if we become aware of something else, some fresh evidence or some fresh fact, we will always revisit a matter. So on that point, if the office becomes aware in respect of our collaborative work from now on of some other factor which requires us to come in fully, the office will do so.